Welcome back to Billionaire Success Lessons. Today, we are telling the story of a man who did not build his fortune by being the loudest person in the room. He did not build it through endless publicity, flashy speeches, or a larger-than-life public image. He built it through quiet intelligence, relentless experimentation, and a rare ability to see opportunity where others saw inconvenience. This is the story of Colin Huang, the founder of Pinduoduo and the driving force behind what became PDD Holdings, one of the most important e-commerce businesses to come out of China in the modern era. And what makes his journey so powerful is not just the billions. It is the speed of the rise, the depth of the struggle, and the mindset behind it all. Before Colin Huang became one of the wealthiest entrepreneurs in China, he came from a modest background in Hangzhou. The Financial Times reported that both of his parents were factory workers. He later studied computer science and went on to work at Google, eventually becoming part of Google China, before leaving to build companies of his own. In other words, Colin did not begin with a giant empire. He began with skill, discipline, and a mind trained to understand systems. That matters because some people think success begins with confidence. Sometimes it does not. Sometimes success begins with observation. It begins with paying attention. It begins with seeing how the world actually works and where the invisible gaps are. Colin Huang was not just chasing money, he was learning how platforms work, how users behave, and how technology can move large groups of people in ways to understand. He worked in the technology world at a time when the internet was rapidly changing how people lived, searched, bought, and connected. Public profiles say he interned at Microsoft, joined Google in 2004, and later worked in Google China. After leaving Google, Bloomberg's billionaire profile says he founded Ouku.com in 2007, an e-commerce site focused on consumer electronics and mobile phones, and sold it in 2010 before moving on to other ventures. Forbes also describes him as a serial entrepreneur who founded multiple businesses before Pinduoduo. This is one of the first great lessons in Colin Huang's story. The company the world remembers is not always the first company the founder builds. Many people think successful entrepreneurs start one business and win immediately, but real life is usually messier than that. First, there is the learning phase. Then there is the trial phase. Then there is the failure phase. Then there is the part where most people quit, and only after all of that does there sometimes come the breakthrough. Colin Huang did not become Colin Huang because he had one good idea. He became Colin Huang because he kept building, he kept testing, he kept learning what worked and what did not. He understood something that many people never fully accept. Every failed attempt is expensive, but it is also educational. Every wrong move teaches you something about timing, customers, product, and the hidden psychology of the market. If you are wise enough, even your setbacks begin to work for you. By the time he founded Pinduoduo in 2015, he was no longer just a talented engineer or a curious entrepreneur. He was someone who had already seen how technology, businesses grow, how e-commerce behaves, and how consumers respond when a product aligns with both habit and emotion. Pinduoduo was not simply another online shopping company. It was built around a social commerce model that encouraged users to buy together in groups to unlock lower prices. Reuters and other coverage described it as a fast-growing discount e-commerce platform, while later company materials highlighted its deep role in agriculture and digital inclusion, and that is where Colin Huang saw what others missed. Most people looked at Chinese e-commerce and saw giants already in control. They saw they saw JD.com. They saw an industry that looked crowded and already claimed. But Colin looked deeper. He saw that millions of price-sensitive consumers were still underserved. He saw that commerce did not have to be only efficient. It could also be social, interactive, and even playful. He saw that people do not just buy products. They also respond to incentives, community behavior, discovery, and the emotional thrill of getting a deal. That was the genius of the model. He did not simply build a shopping app. He built a behavioral engine. He understood that if buying could feel more like participation, more like sharing, more like a game, then users would not just visit the platform. They would bring other users with them. They would spread it. They would become part of the growth system itself. That is a very different kind of company. It is not just a marketplace. It is a marketplace designed around human nature, and yet the road was not smooth. Any startup that dares to challenge established giants is stepping into pressure from the first day. There are hiring risks, funding risks, strategic risks, trust risks. There is also the constant danger that the outside world will misunderstand what you are building. And Pinduoduo was frequently misunderstood in its early years. Some saw it as cheap. Some saw it as chaotic. Some saw it as something rural or low-end that could never truly become powerful. But marketers do not reward pride. They reward product-market fit, and Colin Huang understood that very well. He was not trying to impress elites. He was trying to serve a user base at scale. That is another lesson worth holding onto. Many founders fail because they build for applause instead of need. They want the admiration of other founders, other investors, other insiders. But the biggest companies are often built by people willing to serve ordinary users an ordinary moment. They solve unglamorous problems. They understand overlooked customers. They find value where the fashionable crowd is not looking. Colin Huang did exactly that. Pinduoduo grew with astonishing speed. Reuters reported that by March 2021, the company had reached 788.4 million annual active buyers for the 12 months ending in 2020, overtaking Alibaba to become China's largest e-commerce platform by users. The same company release said Pinduoduo had handling more than 270 billion yuan of agriculture-related products and connecting more than 12 million farmers with over. Think about how extraordinary that is. A company founded in 2015 rose so fast that within just a few years it was no longer merely it had become a giant in its own right. But speed like that comes with a cost. When a company grows that fast, everything is under pressure at once. Leadership is under pressure. Culture is under pressure. Technology is under pressure. Public reputation is under pressure. Competition intensifies. Expectations rise. Investors become more demanding. Every mistake gets magnified. And Colin Huang had to carry that weight while the world was watching more and more closely. In 2018, Pinduoduo went public on Nasdaq, raising about $1.6 billion. That moment turned the company into an international story and transformed Colin Huang into a billionaire on the global stage. But the IPO was not the beginning of success. It was the moment success became visible. The hard part had begun long before the stock market noticed. It began in the invisible years, when he and building the company that many people had not yet taken seriously. This is something the world often forgets. Public success is usually the end of a long private struggle. People see the bell at the stock exchange. They see the valuation. They see the magazine headlines. But they do not see the moments of doubt before the breakthrough. They do not see the mental load of trying to outthink bigger rivals. They do not see the risk of being wrong in public. They do not see the years of building a machine before the machine becomes obvious to everyone else. Colin Huang's journey reminds us that success often looks sudden only to the people who were not paying attention earlier. Then came one of the most surprising choices in his story. In July 2020, Colin Huang stepped down as CEO. In March 2021, he stepped down as chairman as well. Pinduoduo's official announcement said he would devote his time to exploring new long-term opportunities. And Huang himself wrote that if the company wanted to sustain the same quality and pace of growth in 10 years, it was the right time to step out of the comfort zone and explore what comes next. The company also said he would work on food science and life sciences after stepping down from the board. Reuters reported the move as Pinduoduo was overtaking Alibaba by users. That decision says a lot about the kind of thinker he is. Most people spend their whole lives trying to gain power, and once they have it, they grip it tightly. Colin Huang did something rarer. He stepped back while the company was still rising. He let go of the top role while the world was still rewarding him. That is not normal behavior for someone driven only by ego. It suggests something deeper. He may have been motivated not just by title, but by curiosity. Not just by control, but by the next idea. Not just by building a company, but by There is a powerful lesson in that. Success is not only about climbing, it is also about knowing why you climbed in the first place. If the only thing you want is status, then every promotion becomes a cage. Because you become terrified of losing it. But if what you really want is creation, discovery, or impact, then you can move differently. You can step toward the next problem. You can evolve. You can let your life become larger than one title. And Colin Huang's story becomes even more striking when you look at what happened afterward. The company he founded kept growing. PDD Holdings' 2024 annual report says total. And the report says Temu launched in Boston in September 2022, expanded from North America to Oceania, Europe, and economists by the end of 2024. In other words, the company moved from a China-based e-commerce disruptor into a business with real global reach. That matters because it proves something important. The strength of a founder is not measured only by whether he can run everything forever. Sometimes the greatest strength of a founder is building a company steady enough to keep moving after he steps back. That takes vision of a different kind. It means you did not just build a product. You've built a system. You've built structure. You built momentum that could outlive your daily presence. And that is much harder than it sounds. A lot of people can create excitement. Far fewer can create durability. Colin Huang appears to have done both. There is also something deeply meaningful about the agriculture side of Pinduoduo's story. PDD's filings say the company has long seen business opportunities in agriculture, leveraging its platform to promote digital inclusion for smallholder farmers, connect millions of farmers to the digital economy. Initiative in 2021 to support agri-tech digital inclusion and rural development. This gives Colin Huang's story another layer. It is easy to think of e-commerce only as discount shopping, promotions, or fast growth. But underneath that, there's also a bigger structural idea. Use technology to reduce friction between producers and consumers, especially in areas like agriculture, where inefficiency has long been normal. That is not just about making money. That is about redesigning a system, and the people who truly change, they do not just build a better storefront, they change how value moves through the entire chain. For anyone listening today on Billionaire Success Lessons, this story carries a lesson that goes far beyond China, technology, or business. It teaches that some of the biggest opportunities in life are hidden inside things other people dismiss too quickly. Cheap products, rural consumers, group buying, agriculture, gamified shopping, discount culture. To some people, those things might have sounded, but Colin Huang looked at them differently. He saw demand, he saw scale, he saw behavior, he saw a system waiting to be redesigned. And that is what great builders do. They do not let social status decide where the value is. They study reality more carefully than the crowd does. His journey also teaches the value of patience before visibility. Before the public story came Google. Before Google came study. Before Pinduoduo came earlier. Before the billions came multiple attempts. Before the valuation came uncertainty. Before being called a visionary, he had to survive being underestimated. That is the part many people need to hear. You may be in your Google phase. You may be in your Uku phase. You may be in your nobody fully gets what I'm building phase. You may be in the chapter that looks small from the outside. That does not mean the story is small. It may only mean the story is early. Colin Huang's life is a reminder that the chapter people laugh at can become the chapter people later study. There is also something powerful in the way he chose to remain relatively low profile. In an age where many people try to more on execution than on performance. He did not need to be everywhere. He needed the company to work. He did not need to win the loudest voice contest. He needed to understand the market better than others did. In business, that is often the more, and maybe that is why his rise feels. It is not just the rise of another billionaire. It is the rise of a builder who. Commerce is not only about products. It is about behavior, networks, incentives, trust, logistics, and the emotional rhythm of everyday decision. It is the rise of someone who knew that the low-end market can become a massive market, and that a company can look strange to the elite and still become huge in the real world. Forbes 2026 billionaires list places Colin Huang among the richest people in the world, and Bloomberg's billionaire profile. Wealth to PD. But the fortune itself is not the the heart of the story. Wealth is only the scoreboard. The deeper story is what created it: a disciplined mind, technical training, repeated experimentation, unusual product insight, and the courage to build for users that others underestimated. And that may be the biggest lesson of all. Do not confuse what is fashionable. The crowd often chases what looks prestigious. The builder studies what actually works. The crowd wants to be seen winning. The builder wants to build something that wins, whether or not people are paying attention yet. Existing map of e-commerce. He redrew part of it. So when you think about Colin Huang, do not think about the boy from a... Think about the student who built it. Learn from the inside. Think about the entrepreneur who launched. Think about the founder who saw it. Think about the leader who built fast, and then stepped aside to explore what. That is why this story belongs on Billionaire Success Lessons, because it reminds us that success is... Sometimes it is born from pattern recognition, from quiet obsession, from difficult experiments, from serving overlooked people, from seeing a future that does not look beautiful yet, but turns out to be massive. So the next time you feel discouraged because your idea seems too ordinary, too cheap, too unfashionable, or too misunderstood, remember this: a modest background does not limit a big future. An early failure does not cancel a later breakthrough. A quiet personality does not prevent enormous impact, and the opportunity the world overlooks today may. That is the story of Colin Huang. Not just a story of billions. A story of vision. A story of experimentation. A story of discipline. A story of seeing value where others saw noise. And a story of building something so powerful that even after stepping back, the company kept moving across the world,